Welcome back to the Great British Crochet Off, where every single week I crochet something inspired by that week's episode of the Great British Bake Off, and this was Pastry Week. As always, while I will not be discussing who left or who got Star Baker, I will be discussing the specific challenges. So if you haven't watched this week's episode yet, you can hit this little bookmark button down here and save this until after you watch this week's episode. The challenges for Pastry were a savory plait, so it had to be like a puff pastry braid with a savory filling inside. Their second challenge, the technical, was, it was a gala pie. So it was like a rectangular like meat pie, like a picnic pie, that was made out of pork and had a line of boiled eggs running through the middle. And then their final challenge was a tart that had like a structural element to it, where the structure was made out of the same pastry as the tart shell. So like, for instance, one of the bakers did like a roller coastery thing on top. One of them did like Connect 4 on top of it. So like on top of the pie, there had to be a structural element out of pastry.
And this week I was inspired by,
to no one's more surprised than me, a gala pie. I have been looking for the inspiration for a new pin cushion for a while now. And when I saw the gala pie, I started thinking about like picnic baskets and having a lid that can open up on either side. So this is my gala pie pin cushion. So on this side, when you open it up, there's all your pins and your needles and things like that. I tried to pick like the oniony, peppery, tomatoey looking, I know those aren't part of a gala pie, but I tried to pick the savory looking pins out of my pin thing. And on the other side is like a little catch-all container for like little bits and bobbins that you need when you're like stitch markers, and maybe if you have a small pair of scissors, and most of all, little bits of scrap yarn that you get when you're actively working. But then when you open it up, there's the little egg running through the middle. That's my favorite part. That's my favorite part of the entire thing, is that little egg running through the middle. Here's the lattice top. First off, I know I did not put a hole in the middle, but also mine was serving a different function. Mine needs to not let things out as opposed to letting out steam from their pies. But I also put the lattice so you could use it to like stick your scissors and things in. I've been sticking my scissors right into here. And I have previously made a pin cushion for the Great British Crochet Off series. This was my chocolate chip shortbread pin cushion. I love this pin cushion. I adore it. My only concern with it though is that I hand beaded all these beads on it. And while they have not started to fall off yet, I worry about this being the pin cushion that I take in and out of my work bag, and those beads starting to come off, and then I would have to like take the whole thing apart to really fix it the way that I would want. But here is a look at, so this is the lid, and then you have the pin cushion there, and as you can see, I like to keep things in there, so that's why I added a little drawer to this one. So this pin cushion will always be one of my favorite things I've ever made, but now it can sit on my sewing table back here and be kept beautiful forever and ever and ever. And this is the one that gets to be shoved into my work bag, and there's not as much stuff that can like fall off of here. I'm probably gonna add some snaps just to keep these sides closed, because I love that my pins are like kind of closed away from everything, but I'm gonna get there. And now I have two food themed pin cushions, which is what every girl wants, desires, and needs. And I will see you guys next week for meringue week, which is gonna be colorful and frothy and fun.